I'm live. He's alive. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome, 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 welcome to our time together. Your time for you. I'm just here. I'm kind of like a tour guide of reality. How's that? I'm just here to help you sort things out for yourself and basically end suffering. That's my mission in life, which is actually the mission of life, and yours as well. Yes. My guess, I'm pretty confident about this, is that to end your suffering and the suffering of others is why you're all here. That's why I'm here. Let's make sure speaking kind of quietly today, so let me make sure my mic is loud enough. If it's not loud enough, please let me know. I can make some adjustments, but I also don't want it to distort. So, yes, look at that, Ava. Could you turn it louder, please? I want to make sure everybody else too. I am talking a little. Let's turn this up first, because also let me know if it distorts. Starts breaking up at the end, because that sounds terrible too. Getting the sound right is well. You all know my struggle, my suffering over technology. All right. So I have no idea what I'm going to say today, but the older I get, the less I plan. Maybe that's because there's less time to plan for. But I just really enjoy the spontaneity of it. I got to tell you that sometimes, if you're really endeavoring to free yourself from routine, allowing for more creativity, for more richness of experience, for more of anything to come into our lives, there is a step we need to make to kind of let go of our assumptions about things, about our habit patterns, about our expectations. That's a big one. That's a big one. Interesting how life provides us with just the right setting to to reveal, expose, and if you're true to the path, to let go of our expectations. Remember, your expectations are all the projections of the limited mind that we have all identified with. The sense of identity based on just conditioning, patterns, culture, habits, unscrutinized. And with that sense of identity, our idea of a future, what could be and what I can do, is going to be confined within that. So how do you get to a place where it's bigger, it's outside of what we know, because isn't that what we want? This thing too, when it rides up like that. Isn't that what we want? Something grander, bigger, even though we don't know what it is. And this is the extraordinary thing about our human lives and our human experience, and the uniqueness of this spiritual path that we're all on together. And that is simply that your original nature, the beauty, the childlikeness, the curiosity, much of which got really squashed during childhood. Weird, isn't it? Don't let the children be children. see a lot of that, is still there, active, and it pops out, and when it does, it's when we feel the most satisfied. But it's at the same time, there's this whole stuff, these layers of stuff all around it. It's like this diamond that has been just kind of left out, and it's rolled around in the dirt, and it's just this crusted lump, and you have no idea that there's a diamond inside there until somebody tells you, and you believe them, and you actually go through the effort of sort of chipping away, sanding, and the like, until all the junk is removed. And when, as that's happening, the peaceful of its light beam comes shooting out of the authentic you. And this path is this separation of what is you, natural, beautiful, the you we don't know yet, and what isn't you. The learned behaviors, the habitual patterns, the assumptions or beliefs we hold about ourselves, the fears, the worries, the doubts, the pain, etc., etc. All of which we've come to think is myself. This is me, right? Wrong. And this path is a sorting out of that. So you'll find that with the part of you that is genuine and real is reaching for freedom. That's why we're here. That's why we do it. Whether, your path may have started with therapy or personal development, self-help, or some other kind of religious practice, some other kind of spiritual practice. But what was behind it? Right? This incredibly natural impulse is alive in us. It's real, and it cannot be done away with. When you're a child, because you're so vulnerable and powerless, really powerless, genuinely powerless, safety, the safety mechanism within the human system must be totally in charge. Has to be, because you are incapable of taking care of yourself. We can't survive in the world. I mean, we're strange. This is a strange creature, the human being. You watch a horse being born, right? And it's like, it's born in the morning, it's standing before noon, and it's running around in the afternoon. I mean, bam! Yes, there's several months, right, before it's actually ready to weaned and then ready to fend for itself. And at most a year for some critters. But what about us? I mean, 10 years, a decade, before there's the slightest chance of being able to survive. If you're around puberty or something, maybe you might be able to. But for the most part, you're going to have to find some place to be, some place where you don't have to do it all for yourself. And of course, then there's many of us in our modern world who are living in their parents' basements at 35. Playing video games or something. So it's a very strange thing, the way we develop. And so this need for safety over freedom, right, is paramount. And we have to acquire the wisdom and the intelligence to be free, recognize what it is, be willing to go through the incredible discomfort that goes along with it, and also be safe. But you see, after all that time, the safety mechanism is so strong that there seems to be this huge conflict between safety and freedom. But the freedom's there, and it's pushing. And over time, we've done the inner work, whatever shape that might have taken through however many lifetimes, eventually you get to this path, which I know it's bold to say, but for me, I discovered it's absolutely true. This is the last path. This is where they all converge, and you see this intermingling of conditioning and the sense of the separate self and all of that, and a vision, something you recognize the truth of your wholeness. And you recognize it here, you recognize it in a place. I point here, but it's, what is it? This place of deep recognition. It isn't mental. It's not something reasoned out. You just kind of know. Yeah, it's true. What that teacher said is true. And in fact, it's way more true than that. And you can even recognize, this is it. This is the Sadguru thing. This is like, I don't mean the character Sadguru. I mean, it's a Sanskrit word. It means that it actually refers to the ultimate guru, which is that sense of freedom that has been guiding the whole trip all along and making itself more and more plain. And then we consciously engage in this separating out of the dross from the gold, the pure water from the pollution, the real you from the fictitious you. And it is a process, and it takes time and patience and discipline and sacrifice, but not, I gotta go, you're not gonna like starve yourself and live in a cave. It means your most cherished beliefs and assumptions and ideas and all the stuff that you have been believing about yourself and holding on to are real cherished. Oh, I don't want to let go of this one. Those two. Because you get to the point where you're willing to just let it all go for truth. Because the truth kind of holds all the cards, right? I mean, it's the truth. You can't it's true whether you believe it or not, whether anybody believes it or not. It's self-existent. It doesn't need your approval. It doesn't need your cooperation. It really does hold all the cards. So we kind of have to submit to truth, because it's not going to submit to us and our opinions or anything like that. So it becomes just a matter of dropping all that. As I like to say in Zen, don't seek enlightenment, just drop your opinion. Because we have opinions about enlightenment, don't we? Right? Our conditioned, limited sense of mind goes, oh, enlightenment. Oh, that's the shiny, that's the one that's going to do it. Not this technique, but this. And it gets closer, right? But, oh, now it's non-dual, so everything's an illusion. But anywhere along the line, the old habit energy of the mind and its limited shape, its need of a shape, is going to like grab on, commandeer whatever it is that we come up with, and try to turn it into yet another identity that will be limited, and you'll, at first it may feel really great. Look at this. Look at all this stuff I can do. It's really wonderful. I feel free, but then suddenly it's gonna feel tight. The clothes are gonna get tight because freedom and the reality of you, the consciousness, is needing to expand beyond the boundaries of our conditioning and the body. It had to kind of compress itself to get in, to take on the shape of the body in the first place, completely absorbed in it, identified with it, which it had to do, you had to do, in order to experience, not just as a disinterested bystander, but to genuinely experience everything as that. And then, on your path, there comes the time, okay, enough of that experiencing. It's time to go home. At which point now, you begin to step back and become that disinterested witness, but not indifferent witness, a loving, cherishing witness, but not in the drama, not suffering the world, but enjoying the world. Actually, my teacher Muji said that. The world was made for your enjoyment, but not for your completion. And most of us don't enjoy the world. We think we just got to, change things around, but it's, that's rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. It isn't going to. It's only going to bring temporary relief at best, which will eventually lead to maybe even a deeper suffering because, wow, what's going on? The suffering tells us, if we listen to it, because it's part of the program, because if we listen to it, it turns us, really turns us, right? Because when we can't reframe it anymore, we can't anesthetize it, we can't pretend it's not there, we can't go into denial, right? Or we can't go, oh, it's God's way. None of the ways in which we try to defer or minimize the suffering work anymore, and you feel the pure, raw essence of it. You say, you know what? Life is an ego. Life is a person. Life as a limited being is unbearable. Oh, then your feet are. You've taken off your shoes. You're standing on holy ground. And you're walking on the path that will lead you home. Because when you recognize that, what recognizes that? Your inherent freedom is what recognizes it. Because if you really want to be free, you have to know what it is that's binding you. Questions? I am here for you. That is that's my mission here. I am here to respond to you, and it is what I most love to do. This is my joy. Well, I have this, and working with people through the pain and suffering and energy healing classes, emotional healing classes, which are they're not a direct non-dual inquiry like this. They're a very compassionate, gentle way of coming to terms with our conditioning and the pain it's caused, and to really become free of it. So, de fleur, she's open. I will take a sip of my beverage, which is actually just a lemon. Other stuff. Yeah. Well, all the questions, if you don't have any, I can expound on something, or we can all sit together in silence for a while. That works too. That was Ramana's way of teaching. And, sometimes it's the best. All right. Ava hasn't said anything about the sound, so I guess it's okay now. Rosario. In Madrid. And there's my buddy Laird. Good to see you again. You're here. Yay. Hello, with love and appreciation. Yes. Lovely. Wonderful. My man in Chicago. There's Daryl. Hello, Daryl. Very beautiful and peaceful afternoon in Maryland. And a beautiful and peaceful, but chilly day here in Seattle. Namaste to you, Ava and Mary, and my son's name is Chris Walsh, Christopher Walsh. So, Mary is someone who likes to pay for the classes she takes for me by mail, by check. I take cash. I'll take barters, rice, food. shoes, cool clothes, only cool clothes. Oh, this isn't a cool outfit today, is it? So anyway, and I will be staying at my son's house 2 weeks from now. Yeah. So I never send it there because sometimes the mail gets slow. So I am going to go, been invited to go to my teacher's center and home in Portugal. So I'm going to be doing that mid-September. And I just decided it was time to leave here. I'm going to stay with my son. I'll be a vagabond for a while. I'll be in New York for a week. Well, actually, up in Connecticut, meeting a dear friend of mine in Portugal. And then I'm open. I'd love to hang out in Europe for a while if anybody's got a place I can stay, but I can't spend any money on it. I operate on a shoestring, and I'm too old for youth hostels. So I think that's a place I'd like to stay. Otherwise, I'll just be coming back and figuring out the next phase of my life. Well, I'm not going to figure it out. I've given up on that. Right now, I can see 2 months ahead. Right? And all goes well. You know, when they issue the birth certificate, there is an expiration date on them, you know. They just write it in invisible ink, so you don't know. Right? So you don't know. Don't know when, how. Just that it will, and it's such a positive thing. What you would say, death is one of God's greatest ideas. It reminds us that this moment right here, right now, that you and I are sharing together is totally precious. The way it is right now, this mix of people, the subjects, whatever we're talking about, the weather, what we're wearing and feeling, how our hair is today, never will repeat. The nature of reality, the nature of the self, from which all of this is emanating, it's inexhaustible. It's forever changing. Forever. Constantly changing. And it never repeats itself. Never. You, every one of you, individual you, the one that's here just listening to me, on this path where conditioning and reality are kind of all mixed up. But part of that is the separation takes place and the conditioning goes away. It's not like you go away. There's no such thing as a Daryl or a Mary or Liza. Hello, Liza. It doesn't disappear. It's recognized now as as a form without the identification that's projected on of the person, the ego gone. The form that we call Eva or Fatima or Allah is still here. And we see that it is not separate from the self, the reality, the one undifferentiated all. Even one and many start having no meaning, because it's the self of the tree behind me, and the flowers, and the little keyboard I have there, and the thing I turned into an incense holder. It's the self of everything. So we all have a common essence, a common source, where there is no we, and the manifestation of it, and its infinite, inexhaustible diversity is the one. The one knowing. The one knowing itself, or you knowing you, because you are both. Every individual here is simply the self seeing itself from a particular point of view. That's it. We all meditated together. So I do in all my classes. Go to this place where you just being. Just notice that you're conscious here, right? And the more you pay attention to the consciousness, the more you see it's just, the less and less personal it is, that less and less attributes are there, and that the essence itself is empty. It's just this vastness. Right? And guess what? Every one of us that does that meditates, we hit the same vastness. Because it's all of us. We're one and many at the same time, and that's the beauty of the non-dual path. The path that is not two. That's the best you can say about it. Because even saying one, we want to go. We're like one and many. I'm just kind of rambling on here, just waiting for something to stick my teeth into. So, hello again to Liza and Fatima and Ella. Thank you for being here again, G. Well, thanks for coming. Yeah, I need people here to come for. Otherwise, it's kind of lonely. A lot of echo, too. Yeah. Peter in Italy, good to see you. And Tomas, Robbie in Romania. Susanna, my love, good to see you. Good to see you. Melissa in South Carolina, yay. This is Suze. This is a strange one. Well, I would expect nothing less from you, my dear. But I've noticed in the last year that I'm aging. And to be honest, it's really freaking me out. Freaking me out. I feel like there's always something showing up to grieve and let go of. How do you learn to become at peace with aging? I've been living in Portugal for 2 months, especially like Porto. Returning to Malta tomorrow. We'll figure something out for you. Can you stay on campus with Muji? No, it's only by invitation. I mean, so many people around the world want to come and hang out there and just drop in. They have to manage it. And in fact, nobody's going to be there in August, so he can just rest. So he just can't help but doing satsang. He just can't help it. They have to keep everybody away so that he will rest. We'll see how well that works. But how do you learn to become at peace with aging? Yeah. Well, what pops into my mind, there's this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quote from Anthony de Mello, who said, "Enlightenment is total surrender to the inevitable." The only reason why this age is regarded differently than this age is just cultural opinion, ideas, beliefs, meaningless stuff. Now, in the West, in the highly materialistic West where we live, age has no value. Because in a materialistic society that is all about the acquisition of wealth and the like, old people don't buy as much because they're not as susceptible to all the bullshit that younger people are. Right? And of course, if I'm you have a young family, all sorts of things, right? For you to be good consumers. Right? But when you get older, the only thing basically that's getting sold to you is medicines. Right? So there's this prejudice, and there has been in every culture. Right? But in traditional cultures, and even in the East, Asia and India and the like, old folks are elders. They're not old or seniors, they're elders. And they're to be respected and listened to because they have wisdom. They've seen it all. They've seen it all, and they have let go of the stuff. And the whole purpose of getting older and watching these things happen is to recognize that life is constant transformation. It is impermanent. You can hold on to nothing. And therefore, happiness is when you simply let go and let life happen and glean from every phase of life the wonder and beauty of it. Yeah, it's great when you're young and hot, studly, you know. Yeah, it's great. You know, nothing's sagging. Your skin doesn't have little ripples and down a little bit. Yeah, it's great. And it passes. So if you didn't want to age, when would you stop the clock? 5? 15? I don't think anybody here would want to get stuck perpetually going to high school or in puberty or something. And what's the model of it? And remember, we can't say, okay, I want to have a 25-year-old body and the wisdom of a 7-year-old sage. Not allowed. You're going to freeze, everything freezes. So your beautiful 25-year-old body will be still as stupid as a 25-year-old. Because it's a whole package, right? So what we want to imagine is, oh no, I'm going to look like a Greek goddess, right? And I'm going to have the wisdom of the ancients, of the elders. Sorry. It's a package deal. Right? And so if you can just the practice is as you put it, it's like beautiful. It's like letting go. That's what it is. It's freaking me out. Yeah, I feel like there's always something showing up to grieve and let go of. Yeah. And grief is a good thing. But eventually, you don't need it anymore. Because grief is when we experience an irrecoverable loss. That's what grief is. It's a natural process. It's physiological, emotional. It goes on way longer than it needs to for most people, not because grief takes a long time, but because they actually won't grieve. There's stories and reframes and anything except feel just the actual pain that the whole body-mind mechanism goes through when it suffers an irrecoverable loss. Now, if you walk the path and recognize that every second of every day is an irrecoverable loss, that life is impermanent, nothing can be held on to. As that understanding deepens and displaces all of our attachments, there's no more grief, because you've simply let go of it all. Because you know it's going to come and go, come and go, come and go. It'll pass. Love it. Enjoy it while it's here, and then wish it, and then just love it when it leaves. Because you recognize, we want, oh God, we want all these, I want to hold, why can't I just have this forever? Well, not that. Can I get rid of this right now? you notice it's like, I want to hold on to what I want to hold on to. And I want to get rid of what I want to get rid of. And if you look right in the middle, you'll see those choices are being made from a very narrow, finite state of consciousness. Embrace life as it is. Embrace the beauty of aging. It's amazing. I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm more content than I've ever been. I've let go of everything I've become aware of. I've gotten so I can let go. When something shows up that I was holding on to and didn't know, It's always a little strong. I learned that too, yeah. Eventually, Lord, into thy hands I commit my spirit. And you just let go of it. And then there's a sense of equanimity and peace that comes in. It just gets easier to let things go. It doesn't mean it's indifference. I mean, people, I've let all that go. It doesn't matter. Oh no, I weep. Oh, I know at some point this body's going to fall away, and I'm going to let go of all of you. So my granddaughter. We've even talked. Daughters, both of them. Although the older one, we can talk about stuff now. Boys. and she even looked in the mirror the other day. She says, "You know, Baba, I've never actually seen my face." Wow. I mean, spontaneously, I never said anything to her about that. But we've talked about death. Right? She said, "I'm not going to be able to see you anymore?" I said, "Well, you're going to see me. I mean, this body's going to die, but I'm not. It won't be quite the same. Can't get me on FaceTime, but I'm there. I'm not going anywhere." So there's this constant sense of change that's happening. Now, to truly embrace it, you have to go to the next level, which is, while everything is changing, what isn't changing? What never changes? Oh God, I could go on forever about this. But notice that the consciousness that has been aware of you as a 5-year-old and you as a 10 and 15, all the way up. The one right now that goes, I'm aging. This body is aging. It can happen really surprisingly. Suddenly, I had that looking at, what? The last thing I knew, I was 25. Where did this, how did I end up in this 73-year-old body? It hits like that because our pictures of ourselves don't change quite as fast as reality does. The mind is kind of slow to keep up, and then it hits you. But what was the same? What recognized that? Obviously, something was there before to recognize what's there now. Has that changed? The consciousness that was aware of you and your circumstances. The content changed. My God, of course it did, enormously, hasn't it? The feelings in the body, the energy, changed enormously. But something recognized it. Put your attention on the awareness of it, and you realize the awareness itself has not changed. It's the same. So now what's happening? Constant flow of change. But see, part of the things that's changing is the sense of self, which we have identified with, because that self is nothing but an image in the mind. It's just a story that we've believed and therefore inhabited and experienced. But what we're doing is stepping out of that belief. See that it was just a story. And in fact, all there's ever been is this constant transformation. I've never been any of it. In fact, nobody has. There's no person at all. There is just the self, you, and this infinite, vast, inexhaustible motion of transformation that is like a big circle around the center, which is you. You. I mean, what's more you? The form, the 15 or the 25-year-old, or the consciousness that's been aware the whole time? Which one's you? Then you realize you are not aging. You are timeless. You were never born. You're never going to die. You're going to watch things. I mean, how death come and go. It happens all the time. It's going on in the body right now. But you never die. When you believe you are the body, you will be afraid of dying because I'm the body. Oh, this is my destiny. This is my limits, everything. Oh no, I don't want the body to die. And there are people that are doing stupid things, trying to perpetuate life and growing new organs and having themselves frozen or just their heads. It's like, oh. And religions, like, I hear Christians getting offended at, somebody talking about evolution. I'm not an animal. And they go, yeah, you're not, but your body is. Of course it is. They want to, they hold on to it for dear life. Yeah, men are men, and women should be like, and all like that. But when you die, what happens? Right? Well, your soul goes down. Okay, your soul. So the body isn't you then, is it? So what's the problem? If this had to evolve in order for you to, work it, what's the problem? If it started as monkeys and became this. So what? It's not you. This is, I don't know, I got off on that, just popped in. That's why. I have no discipline. If it comes in my mind, I say it. Hopefully it's meaningful to you. And I assume that if I'm saying it's meaningful to somebody out there. If not now, then somebody who might stumble upon this later on when it's in replay. So, what we really don't want to lose, Susanna, is our energy, our enthusiasm, our curiosity, our happiness, our beauty. And the only way to do that is to detach all of those characteristics from the form. The form simply gives expression to those characteristics. The you, even this individual, not even talk about the whole, infinite self thing, just the individual that we know is Suze, is this constantly unfolding. It's like you're a song, right? Now, a song, what's a song? Right? Everybody will hum their tune, but that's you humming the tune, right? But the same song could be played on a piano, could be played with a full orchestra, played with a chamber orchestra, with a jazz band, it could be a cappella singing, solo, it could be yodeled, it could be put into a million different languages. It's the same song, isn't it? In a gazillion different forms. And that's what the self is, the universal theme of being. And that's what Susanna is. This individualized manifestation that is simply not separate from the self, but an aspect of it, that is now manifesting through the form, and same song, the song is Susanna, but your whole life has just been a series of different singers. And every phase of life brings its beauty and the things you have to let go of. I can still get a tear in my eye when I think of my kids, as little kids, and driving around my car and just doing stuff. And at one point, I got a job in this private school. I taught music. I was a dorm parent, and so I could have a daycare for my kids. They had a daycare center, and it was great. I was there. I could all the time. I'd be a cook in the daycare center, and I had to be there because my youngest was still in diapers, and they wouldn't do that. So I would get a call, or somebody would come get me before cell phones. You got to come up. Chris has pooped again. All right, I'm on my way in. Off I go. I mean, all of that is just such. And now I look at him, 49 and 50. these kids, and it's like, step, you know, step back and take it all in, and just go, my God, this is a mystery, and so beautiful it hurts. My body can't contain it. Yeah, it wants to explode. This body is becoming too restrictive of a container for experience. But why all the difficult stuff that happens? To just get you to let go. That's why. If it was all beautiful, we wouldn't let go. That's why there is suffering. So that guess what? You cannot hold on to that which is constantly changing. You can't live under the delusion that we can create permanence out of impermanence. If you can see that, you start to, oh yeah, right. And then you realize that none of this would be possible unless it was impermanent. Because otherwise, everything's fixed. You couldn't grow. You couldn't mature. You couldn't have freedom if it wasn't for the fact that you're not stuck anywhere and it's constantly transforming. Imagine if you were stuck, right? This is it. This is all you can ever be. There's no more freedom. There's no growth. There's no emotional. There's no, if you're not happy, tough. That's it. You're stuck. I mean, imagine. No, we don't want that. But I want this to stay the same. Yeah, nothing does. It's kind of an all or nothing deal. And the more you just submit to that, the more happy you get. It's funny because you think, oh, I gotta let go of it all, and then you do, and just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. The happiness is inherent. It's not conditional. Oh, I've gone on this enough. Don't you think? Yeah, I'll take a sip. Oh, Susanna. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. See if you can find me a place that's not that far from Portugal. I had something, but I ran out of time to get there in Ireland, which I'd love to see Ireland. I'd like to see London. I don't, as long as it's not too expensive and I can hang out for a little bit before I come back. Just like to see a little bit more of Europe as long as I'm there. Okay, Ms. Nay. Oh, my favorite people on the earth. Hello, love. Hello, Ehud? That's how I say that. Ehud. Hi to you. John. Oh, gee, could you talk about manifestation as a spiritual activity? If you really want to have a genuinely, deeply spiritual activity, practice, life, let go of the idea of you as a person manifesting what you want. It is a dead end and a seduction. Yes, there are techniques you can use. If you really adhere to them, there are yogic practices. There's all sorts of them. Complete mastery. You can just manifest anything at will. But there's no enlightenment there. Because it doesn't ask, who is it that's trying to manifest? What you want to manifest will be a product of how you see yourself. So if you have a limited sense of yourself, what you want to manifest, bring into your life, will simply be that which pleases this little finite, restrictive sense you have of yourself. And this is the big mistake that the whole manifestation thing, law of attraction and all that made. That the whole purpose was to simply satisfy take away all the limits so I could have what I want. And that I is just this, the ego, which is by its nature confined and restricted. And the moment it gets one thing, it wants another. It is insatiable. It cannot be satisfied. I don't care how much you manifest. Oh, now the next thing. And the thing is that if one does acquire these Siddhic powers, where they can manifest whatever they want, that can go on for lifetimes, right? After lifetime, and you think you're there, right? You've made a heaven, right, that eventually you'll find it restricted. Or, if you're blessed, touched by grace, every attempt to manifest will fail. And at first you go, well, how do I, it was working, well, now why isn't it working? And it won't. Because it's only your belief in it that makes it work. There's no such thing as a law of attraction. It's a belief. Believed in enough, it seems to work. But it doesn't. It's not real. It's not authentic. It is a belief. And because we're unaware that all of this is a product of our beliefs, we think there's some kind of magic law that now I'm operating on it. But there's nothing external. There's nothing objective out there. Right? The spiritual practice, at least on this path that we're joining in here and listening to, is a separation out, a separating the sense of self from a limited personal identity and all of its desires and interests and suffering, and instead identifying with the consciousness that's aware of it, which is free and open and spacious. And you find that everything is a manifestation of it, but the manifestation is simply like the emanation from the sun. It is not a person. It is not a deliberation. It's not something we're trying to do. It's not an attempt to make things different, because the I that wants them different doesn't exist. It's not there. So who are you becomes more of a question than how do I get what I want or improve or any of that stuff. It's all good. I'm not diminishing it in the slightest. I'm just saying that there comes a point in our spiritual lives when you're called up to a higher level. And if you're listening here, then you have been. Right? And if it hasn't already, it's only a matter of time before it will kind of take over. Because this is our destiny. We're all destined to wake up. I don't know how, when, the particulars are just going to be this beautiful, very unique experience that you have. But the destination's the same. We're all headed to the same place. The full realization of yourself as the self, and the form as the manifestation of yourself. And that the entire universe is your manifestation. It's all you. The universe is your body. You're not confined to this. That's just a thought. And thought believed creates a form with which we identify. You're not the body. You're not the mind. You're not the emotions. They're all appearing to you. So the spiritual activity is just what we're doing right now. Inquiry. Who am I? This desire. Think of something you want to manifest. Okay, where did that come from? Where did this desire come from? And this desire, what if I fulfill this desire, what's it going to bring me? If you really look closely, what you'll find is very simple. it's going to bring me a sense of happiness, which it will. Right? There'll be happiness there. But it won't be stable happiness, because the belief is that I'm feeling happy now because I got what I want. The truth is, when the desire is satisfied, the desire disappears, and the happiness that's been there the whole time is now felt. But because of that belief, a new desire arises, the happiness goes away, and we go back to seeking. But if you realize it's been there the whole time, you bypass the whole thing and go right to the happiness. Why wait? And why make it fluctuate? Why have, a month of visualizing and everything to get it? And suffering, because, that's what it is. The sense of lack, I don't have it, I need to get it, is a sense of suffering. Why not suffer? Right? Let the desire be there. Not be concerned whether it fulfills itself or not, because you don't need it for happiness. Now it just becomes a punctuation. It becomes a joy. It becomes a moment of ecstatic happiness rather than the, your baseline pure happy joy thing. Yeah. Take your choice. Take your pick. Yeah. Again, I don't have an issue with any path, because I went through all sorts of stuff. I went through all sorts of different phases, looked at all sorts of different things. And I was just enormously grateful to be led to this, and a real teacher, and I recognized this is it. It's beyond all the others. But it isn't a criticism, a dismissal. I've gotten plenty of comments from students of other teachers of non-duality, and oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And, some are just, downright insulting. And I don't care about those. As far as YouTube concerns, it's engagement, so good. It's good. Some of them are just so offensive to everybody that I do delete them. But that rarely happens. So I'm not critical of any teaching, because every single teaching I went through prior to this, I got something out of it. But what I see now is why I got something out of it is because there was a genuine sincerity there. I wanted to know what was true. And I was aware enough that something wasn't quite right, even though I tried to make it right, and I tried to settle in, and the like. I couldn't manufacture that. And eventually, with the right guidance, come face to face with this stuff, and you begin to see, and wow, it's me. I'm just holding on to things, hoping against hope they're going to deliver something that they can't deliver. Nothing in this world can bring you what you're really seeking, which is you. Simply can't. A lot of nice stuff. I mean, really. As Mooji said, the world is for your enjoyment, but not for your completion. Taste, enjoy, and every now and then I find myself getting ready. Oh God, this is so great. I don't want to let go. And then I can hear this wonderful voice of my teacher. It's beautiful. Isn't it great? Now come, we're going home. I go, oh yeah, great. It's all passing. Thank you, John. I hope that's meaningful to you. Nay, my lovely Nay. Gee, could you touch on trusting people who have previously hurt us? The nervous system mind are very against being open to trusting. And I feel like it assumes people who intentionally hurt aren't trustworthy. Something desires to be open to allow the opportunity for trustworthiness, but there's another part that's like, no, big no, it would be stupid to even put myself in that situation. Something desires to be open to allow the opportunity for trustworthy to be proven. Beautiful. That no, God, you're so close. You are so damn close. To allow the to proven, but there's another part that's like, no, and it would be stupid to put myself there. Yeah. I see. It was there twice. I read it twice, so it must be important. Okay. Lovely. Oh, so good. I'm saying that, Nay, because I've known you for a while and I've watched. And this is awakening. This is what awakening looks like. It's not any of that. It's just recognizing two very different aspects of ourselves that appear to be in conflict, but actually aren't. They appear to be because we hadn't really understood either. Remember that urge towards freedom. And what is that? Freedom to what? To openly express, to love, to taste life as it is, without fear. Right? Not foolhardy, but this perfect mixture of love, compassion, openness, vulnerability, and wisdom that knows how to navigate through where there are plenty of people that aren't trustworthy. Now, when this got shut down in you early on, for a child, the early us, there's not a lot of nuance, right? It's like, it's kind of black and white. And the human safety mechanism, which is just like the safety mechanism in every other animal on the planet. You know, if something spooks a cat, they don't sit and deliberate whether or not they should trust it. They're gone. Right? It's automatic. Boom. That would be the case in us, except that with the way children have been raised now for years, and the more extreme it gets, the thing that spooks you never leaves. So you can't get away, right? Because they're there. As a matter of fact, you're dependent on them for your very life. Which puts us in this extraordinary position. But if the most important thing to the body is to remain safe, that is to survive, which it is, and is the only thing that matters when you're young, what's the best way to guarantee that you'll be safe? Well, in the case of some people aren't trustworthy and they really hurt you, the best way to avoid getting hurt is to don't trust anybody, right? Boom, works. Guaranteed, won't happen. Just don't trust anybody. Don't let anybody in. Now, if all you were was the safety mechanism, great. Perfect. Absolutely perfect, flawless solution to the problem. Got hurt? We're never going to do it again, period. Now, from that aspect of the human mechanism, that's all it cares about. Safety mechanism only cares about safety. You can talk to it about, happiness and creativity and experiment and curiosity and new experiences, but you might as well be speaking a foreign language because it has no idea what you're talking about. Happiness? What's that? Safe? Not safe. That's it. It's binary. It's a one-trick pony. It's all it knows. And it's all it cares about. So you can be absolutely miserable, but if you're safe, it's going, I'm doing a great job. And it is. In the meantime, this other part of us is like, no, I want to taste life. I want intimacy. And safety goes, I don't care. Right? But because that's initially how we all are, we kind of have to, we can't fight it. You cannot fight the nature of the system. You can't. You can't make the cat bark. You know? You can't make a pine tree grow peaches. You simply can't do it. Everything has its nature, and we have to honor it. Right? So, what you're experiencing right now is that you've moved out of a fight with it, and you also moved out of being nothing but that, which you had to be as a kid, right? I mean, you know that. We've talked about it. You had to be constantly on the alert, on the guard. You had to play your role, you know, so well that you became the role, forgot you're not the role, and yet there was still this suppressed anger and resentment and stuff going on that, you know, eventually, you know, exploded. But it's also that is inhibited you because a lot of the resources you need to function more broadly aren't available. They never got developed. Right? So this is where we find ourselves. And now we want the freedom. We're becoming more aware of it. The urge towards it is bigger. There's this very powerful force that's saying no. Yeah, I'm saying it's wonderful for you because you can now see both. Right? And you don't have to take sides. Right? You're not actually going to be able to fully realize that freedom to allow things, to be comfortable, right? To be able to tell when somebody can be trusted and when they can't. It won't be binary. It'll be a continuum. They're not trustworthy, but they're fun to hang out with. So we'll go have a couple of beers. But I'll count my fingers after I shake their hand. Right? To others that are, okay, I can trust them. Others, and it keeps going. So there's a million boundaries, right? There's a million little walls. But until there's this reconciliation between freedom and safety, we won't know. Because safety says, just build one big one right here. Don't let anybody in. Works for a while, but it's very unsatisfying, right? Because we need the closeness. We need the touch, the intimacy. You know? We need a warm body next to us. I'm sorry, imaginary friends on Facebook, don't cut it. I need, human smell and interaction. I mean, even I do. I'm a very solitary fellow. I live by myself, and have for a while. I'm not averse to relationships. That's just really happened in such a way. And I'm very content to go to a coffee shop and sit and look around. I'll just sit there. Sometimes I'll close my eyes and meditate. Sometimes I'll do something. There's a couple little places that are really nice. Get to know the people. I'll chat with the barista and some of the regulars there. That's all I need. And that's satisfying. So there's always ways for things to work out, no matter what your particular preferences and disposition are. But that's the key. Yes, huge desire for freedom, and I want more of it. But I can't have freedom at the expense of safety, because what good is my freedom going to do me if I'm dead? But I can't live, stuck in a cell. These guys got to work together. And over time, as we're working on this, right, we'll recognize, that's the nervous system saying no, with the assumption that it's better to have nothing than to risk getting hurt. Great. And if the assumption's true, that I will get hurt, well then, yeah, this is the right thing to do. But is it true? The assumption in the nervous system is that it is true. It was at one time. And now we just kind of gently, kind of like a rescue dog, we're coaxing it to kind of just, okay, well, things might have changed. Let's kind of take a look around and see. Maybe it's a little safer. And gradually, this stops being a conflict between safety and freedom. And whole mechanism starts reorganizing itself to make it free, safe enough to be free, and know when it's not and when it is. When you can just like take your clothes off and dance down Fifth Avenue, and when you have to like be total, Betty briefcase, button down, just stern, Judge Judy or something. Never seen that show. Just that face. So how are we doing, Nay? On this one, again, I mean, it's beautiful, and the way to resolution of that, the reconciliation between that, you're doing it. We've been doing it once a week and on WhatsApp for a while now, right? Yeah, this is how it's done. And once you understand what's happening, you realize, oh, I don't have to fight it. Matter of fact, my fighting is actually giving it all the power. I just have to step back and honor all the aspects of me, be the peacemaker, and don't take sides. That's it. It's practice, because we're so used to being resistant and fighting and taking a side, and so it takes practice. But boy, is it worth it. As you've already tasted, haven't you? Oh, that, and you've just got a taste of the honey. Oh yeah. Oh, so much more to come, my love. Yay. Sometimes I just have to take in what an incredible blessing this is. I just gotta like, wow. I just never thought, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of getting lost in my own, in my own kind of spontaneous arising of just gratitude and joy. Okay, let's see. Daryl, so damn helpful to you. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you. Yeah, for me too. I didn't make this stuff up, guys. I am the beneficiary and the receiver, just like you. I just want to share it. And it's a nice way to spend a life. It's a great way to spend a life. It's a meaningful way to use this form for the best purpose I can think of it. Which is to help alleviate the suffering of the world. But the only way you can really do that is to recognize the cause of the suffering. And the world is doing all sorts of things to try to get rid of suffering, none of which, but totally ignorant of the cause. And so what does it? Makes more of it. And then we come, more defense, more safety, more defense, till nothing else matters, till we destroy the world to defend ourselves. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Okay, let me take a sip here. I bring myself back here, back to earth here. Keith, Elsablad, Alkablad. Interesting name. Can I call you Keith? Because I can't say your last name. It's sure easy to get attached to that story. Yes, until you see that the attachment is part of the story. It's the subtler level that we miss. And so the maturity is walk along this path, recognize, okay, I've got to let go of this story of I. Right? But then we create a new I whose story is about getting detached from the story of I. You see, it's very subtle. The impulse to identify is more than the particular thing we've identified with, because the moment you see it's an identification, identification, you step back. And the moment you step back, Maya, this impulse to identify, will be right there going, oh, wow, we saw that. Wasn't that great? Now I know more. I'm even more spiritual. And eventually, strictly out of grace, the grace of God, the grace of the Guru, you begin to recognize there's subtler and subtler levels, and they're all doing exactly the same thing. And the key to seeing through it is that if I can perceive it, however subtle, however impalpable, if I can perceive it, it can't be me. Obviously, I cannot step outside myself and look at myself, because I am not two. I am one. Therefore, I cannot perceive myself, which means any shape that I would take would be perceivable. So it can't be me. And this is where you hit the boundary, and this is where it's like kind of where you're going to hang out once you get there, because our habit is to take form. The energy of every life you've ever had, at the root of all vasanas, the repository, consciousness, the root is this impulse to identify, to take a shape. That's Maya. And because of that, the impossibility of anything perceived to agree with it or imagine it, because there's no form there to be taken. You can't perceive yourself because you're not a thing. You're not a form. Consciousness is not a form. You're pure awareness, which is what you are. The consciousness hearing my words right now is not the body that it is experiencing. And all stories, even the best story, the story of a sage, of pure awakening, is just a story. The self never went to sleep. It's never going to awaken. It's simply what's appearing. And if it's appearing without identification, it's a beautiful story. And of course, every story, the end of it, the chapters towards the end, they're all about how the whole book was made up. And you're now like, oh, it's a book, right? And you're in the chapter where the whole plot gets exposed, the game is understood, and then there's the denouement of just the pure bliss of experience until finally reunion with the place you never left. So at a certain phase, it's going to be, it's a story. I need to detach from the story. And there are practices that we do. And some students of mine, that's the practice I have. And it gets them ready very quick to go, well, okay, now, who's trying to get detached? And what's seeing that? And you just begin to surrender to this process that's a deepening and a deepening that's happening. And it's not happening because of your practice. Your practice is happening simply because you've become devoted to it, consciously participating in it. And that practice isn't what's bringing about awakening. Awakening is bringing about awakening. But the practice is what you must, the gates you must pass through. Are you following that? It's a subtle one. But yes. But notice now, why is it easy to get attached to that story? Let me just focus on you for a second, just make sure. Why? And can you notice that there's a sense there, right, of somebody who gets attached, right? And then you want to make a better somebody that isn't so readily attached. And it would be definitely a better somebody, right? I mean, I'd rather be in a room full of well-behaved egos than self-absorbed narcissistic egos. Of course, that would be my preference. The development of the sattvic character, of compassion and kindness and patience and all those things is wonderful and happens, but there's still a sense of somebody who is this loving and compassionate witness, right? And that will be the experience of being a loving person. And then you recognize that there's just this love in the form and there is no person there. That things are happening, but there's no doer there doing them. Yet I will experience it as doing. Right? That doesn't change. But there's not one actually doing. It's all just this incredible, beautiful unfolding of transformation that you become more and more aware of that is not you. And in completion, just absorb the whole thing back into your heart. It's not you, but it's the emanation of you. It's like looking in a mirror. It's both you and not you, right? It's not you, but yeah, it is. But with the self, infinite being, everything is you. Everywhere you look is the mirror. The Sufis say, wherever the eye lights, it sees the face of God. Look in the mirror, you're seeing the face of God. Right? Because the reality of God is it has no face. It has no face, or you could say, it's every face. It's your face. You are the self. And there's no person there. There's no person here. Every now and then, you're going to get caught in a little web. Maya's clever. Oh boy, she's subtle. She's good. But once you know the rules of the game, once you know how it's played, it's like, yeah, it's kind of a fun game. It's suddenly, you're playing a game. The trick of the game is learning how to play. You're not really sure what the rules are. Stuff's but happening. But little by little, you piece together. Suddenly, oh man, this is the game. Wow. But now, I know. I got the game. Suddenly you're whizzing through all the levels. You know exactly when things are going to happen. Reflexes are primed. And now it's suddenly, it's enjoyable. And all you want to do is just love everything and share it. Thanks, Keith. Wow. Oh. Wow. I know what I got to do here. Oh, I see. Something going on in my computer here. How do I do this? Just a second, folks. I kind of blew something here. Okay, never. All right, let's see. Which one of these things? Oh, no, that's not the wrong one. That's the one. Tried out this new little feature on the computer, and I hit a button. All of a sudden, all the stuff's around. And I was, how do I get back to where I was? And here I am. I'm back. Okay. Mary says, I remember this as I was aging the time of my 40s. I thought I was doing something wrong because I felt different. Then it dawned on me that my body's aging. It will never feel like I did in my 20s. But I still was the same. I'm the same as when I was a baby. Thank God I still have my energy. Aging is such a blessing because you gain wisdom from life experience. Yeah. Well, let's put it, a better way to put this, since we're, in satsang. You don't gain the wisdom, but life experience pulls away all the places where you've been investing your energy, and you find the wisdom that's been there the whole time. Because it is you. You are wisdom itself. And yes, thank you for mentioning that, because I don't think I mentioned that Well, no, I think I did. Yeah, I talked about there is something there that's the same. And sometimes somebody needs to point it out to you, and sometimes it just happens very spontaneous. A lot of people notice that. It's like, wait a minute, I'm like 60 and I still feel like I'm like 15. I mean, sometimes I am. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I act like it. Impulsive and silly and yeah, completely without any social grace. Love. Uh, yes. Laird says the first 100 years are always the hardest. Yeah, the first 100 lives too. Yeah. Thank you. That was a beautiful reminder. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're here to let go. My son said to me a while back, after, I think it was, yeah, it was, oh God, a while ago, because it was before Bello, the second one, was born. And he said, Dad, I figured this whole parenting thing out. Parenting's about letting go. And I went, yeah. And it's a lesson that you keep having to do. Keep having to let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. I mean, it's amazing to see. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm obsolete. They have no need of me anymore. And they do just fine without me, and they have been for decades, right? And all I can say is, damn, I did my job. I'm supposed to make myself obsolete. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to make myself useless. I end up being, photos on the phone somewhere. Oh, remember him? Yeah. In a couple of generations, nobody will. Who's that? I don't know. Oh, really? I'm related to... Oh, my God. Really? Maybe they'll dig up some old YouTube videos if it's still around in 50 years. It'd be very funny. It's kind of weird that suddenly kids are going to be able to see their grandparents and great-grandparents on YouTube. Right. Very strange. Let's see. The first, that last. Very soothing vibes, sir. Have a great day. Thank you. The first, the last. Yes. Alpha and Omega. Amen. Yeah. How did Balyani put it? He, God, is the first. And there's nothing before the first unless it's him. And it's the last, and there's nothing there's nothing beyond the last unless it is just this oneness. Yeah. The first, the last, the only. No first, no last. What's first when that which is has always existed? There's no beginning, there's no end, there's no first, there's no last. Which means there's also no middle. There's just now, which is eternally has been. Okay. Oh, creative cellist. Yeah. Maya, is it pronounced? Maya? Creative cellist. Oh, I love cello. Yeah. Some cellos in the music that I've written. I just love oh, what an amazing instrument. And not easy. I tried playing them. It's like, whoa. I'll stick to drums and keyboards. Yeah, I can just bang on it, right? Primitive kind of thing. Wow. Oh, anyway. Okay, sorry. I've never manifested anything. I just think about what I'd like in my future life to look like, and trying my best to work towards it. Keep the faith. When it doesn't work out, I grieve and start over. Good. Maybe I can help you put an end to the grief. So that everybody, even people on the spiritual path, we think, get to the spiritual path, I have no desires, and I don't want anything in my life. It's like, oh, good, please. face palm. Oh, not again. I have to go through this. Okay. All of our human life is natural. It's beautiful. It's what's supposed to happen. It's the sense of this personal sense that gets very grabby and gets attached to particular outcomes and is upset when it doesn't get them. Now, I can feel in your energy there's not an upsetness there. But it's not working, and yes, damn, it isn't working. But do this instead. Let that idea, that feeling, that vision of what you want your future to be like, let it be there in all its glory. And some opportunity comes up to take a step towards it, take a step. Right? But then you kind of like let it go. Turn it over to the universe, to God, whatever you want to. So that the desire's there, it's real. It wants to fulfill itself. But we don't always know what that is. Matter of fact, the truth is we never do. The things I've wanted in my life, the ones that have been fulfilled, did show up. I recognized them energetically, but they bore no resemblance to what I had pictured, because the picture is always going to be based on what I know now and memories and things like that. And as best as I can extrapolate a vision. And it could be beyond that. And so every true desire has got a destiny, and it will fulfill itself some way. If, those times when you have the vision of the future, and it really means something to you, right? This isn't happenstance. It means enough to you that it occupies it. It means that just giving attention, loving attention to that desire without clutching, grasping, or fighting, or anything like that. The desire itself is having an effect on you. And that effect is often growing us to the point where we're actually capable of inhabiting the things that we can feel that we're reaching for. So if they don't work out, right, notice that, there'll be grief, but that grief can be absorbed if you simply let go of what you thought it was supposed, your expectation about it, as a projection of the mind. But just keep checking in with the desire itself. Just raw, pure desire. Because what we're really desiring, everybody, at the root of all of our desires, is our desire for the total freedom of self-expression. The desire to be happy, content, but not a happiness that fluctuates, not something that is dependent upon circumstances. It's okay, the circumstance. The desires will be there. But notice that there's like a certain level they're conditional. But at the root of every desire we have, no matter how mundane and materialistic it seems or how grandiose, I want more money, I want enlightenment. At the root of all those desires is this deep, deep desire to be free, to be whole. And the thing is, at the root of that is the insight that is what is awakening, that we'll all eventually get there. And that is that I can't get it because I'm already it. I not have it. I have it, because then it would be something that, it's possession. I am it. What I am seeking, I already am. Now our minds and the way we're bound in time just can't grasp that. It can't grasp you're already that. As you can see, I tell you, you are already the self. You are already the infinite being. You are already pure happiness, love, compassion, wisdom, perfection. And notice, you can't accept it. Right? There's these energies constantly rejecting it because there's another image there that's been dominant of somebody who is lacking in some way and needs to get something. Now, when there's no maturity in that, it becomes very greedy and grabby and narcissistic and power and all that. And that's when, but as you mature, it gets more and more sattvic. The desires get more global, universal. I just don't want stuff for me. I want everybody to be happy. And it just keeps, and that's the maturity. And eventually it gets to the point where you hit the boundary of what our minds can do, of what our human life can do as a human. And you have to step beyond to the place that isn't about becoming, but about being. And you find, I am that. I always have been that. Even the desire has been a emanation of my wholeness appearing in time. So the desire is, in fact, the very presence of the perfection that you already are, witnessed in the field of time, in which it becomes a flow of desire to fulfillment. But at the root of it, it is the eternal, eternally fulfilled, eternally self-realized self. Wow. Boy, one of those days where I just keep kind of going, wow. I mean, I'm just, wow. I am like totally blown away by the beauty of this. And the beauty of all you. Because I know for a fact, my own personal experience, and working with many people, this is an unusual path. It's not something most people even encounter. And when someone can actually look at it and get drawn into it, and then actually begin to practice it, sinks in like that, I'm just like amazed. Because I know grace is at work. I know that you know, at some point in this life or another life, you decided that you really did want to know what was true, more than what was simply convenient. That you really wanted to be free, and had no idea how. And we walked through many different methods and processes, lifetimes, all sorts of things, hoping it would lead to freedom. But at some point, that desire had so much sincerity in it, it became a prayer that God must answer, cannot turn down, cannot defer, cannot postpone. God's a sucker for that. God damn it, gotta do it. God damn it. And at that moment, really, your life was no longer the life of a person or an ego. It takes a while for all of that to be dismantled and dissolved, because you'll find your life going in directions you didn't want it to go, thinking, I gave my life, I want to be free, why? But we still think freedom is over here, and life is already taken over. Grace is saying, it's here, I know, you're gonna kick and scream, and I'm just gonna have to drag you some of the times, and carry you some of the time, and some of the time you go, oh, and you're gonna walk on your own and think this is it, and then it's gonna crash. But the whole time, this higher power, you want to call it, it appears to us in whatever form we can receive it. Spirit guide, ascended master, um, any of these things. They're not objective realities per se. They're all the costume that the ultimate supreme being wears because you'll recognize it. Bring you to the next level until finally you don't need the costume anymore. And then finally you realize that it's you. You're the one that's being called the sense of you, calling you back out of identification with all these things, back to the source, and you realize you've been at that the whole time. And everybody's your brother and sister, including the trees, and the animals, the water, the sky. It's all alive. Thank you, May. Cellist. Got a link to any of your music? I love cello music. Yeah. Got a link, put it here. Please put it there. I don't want people advertising, but that's different. What's music? I got this thing. That was my thing. I thought I was going to be, first a rock star, then just a good music, then composer, and all of which I did and did well. I didn't get this whole thing about identity, right? The whole thing would have been a whole lot more pleasant experience. Got in the way. So there's a question here from you. Sorry, I just went off on your statement. Tarifa. Wow, the southernmost point in Western Europe. Roberto. Wow. Love you, brother. Okay, here's May. How do you carry the near constant grieving process while still experiencing the joy? Did I explain that? I mean, did I cover that when I was answering you? Yeah. The grieving grows, right? Because the grief we feel, if we really let it happen, it's a very natural process. Right? But when it's difficult, it's because we're resisting it. We're reframing it. We think there's something, I shouldn't feel this way. But what grief is what it feels like as the nervous system, the energy, everything adapts itself to an irrecoverable loss. Recognized as an irrecoverable loss, and it's a shock. Because remember, anything in our lives that would mean enough to us to grieve, family, friends, and not just something who dies, but lost, I've had objects that I really loved, right? I had my dad's watch, and I sent it in to get it fixed, and they sent me a replacement instead of fixing it. I can't figure they sent me a replacement. I tried to get, no, I'll take it broken. Because my dad's, right? Gone. Ouch, that hurt. At the time, I was much better at suppression, so it didn't matter. But eventually that fell away. Yeah, it did matter. It did. It would be great if I could have given that to my kids. No, it's not valuable. It's not worth any money. It's not going to go on one of those shows where, this came from, it's my dad's. He wore it every day. I saw it. It's on his wrist. And I look like him. So, I'm digressing all over the place. Sorry. Anything that means something, anyone, anything, any place that means something to you is going to be grieved. And what that is it's gone for good. But there is an energetic circuit that's been created. With every friendship, and they're different. Some are really tight, really close, your partner, your immediate family, children, things like that, and then friends and the like. But all of them create a circuit. All of them. And the loss means the circuit's broken. So your energy system is in a circuit. It's used to this, and all of a sudden it's broken. Bam! What happened? And it's got to. The first thing that will happen is there'll be this intense desire to try to make it happen again, and then eventually that runs out of steam because you can't. In some cases, and in some cases you shouldn't. Right? But then it enters into it goes through a few phases that can go very, very quickly if you let it, right? In which is this just kind of a sense of disorientation because nothing's going to mean the same anymore. The object that meant one thing now means something different because the whole energy that's looking at it is now different. And eventually it comes to the place of reconciliation and acknowledgement. And in that state, right, what's happened is the nervous system is reorganizing itself in such a way that it's no longer needing that circuit, but all the beauty and sweetness and memories is all there. It's all there, but none of the suffering. Nostalgia, yeah, there's things. Remember, the tears start coming to my eyes. I could cry right now if I started talking about the last cat I had, Whitney, for 17 years, who actually said my name. And I wasn't tripping when I heard it. And other people heard it and said, "Did she just say your name?" Right. Great, amazing cat. I'm sure she's a human now, but yeah, I get all drippy. And she's gone, and of course, because it had so much meaning. And but go grieve it, move on. No, it's nothing like that. It happens all very, 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 very naturally. Yeah. And in that you'll find a joy that's not the kind of ecstatic happiness kind of joy, which is conditional. Things happen. It's the joy that comes from surrendering to life as it is, and realizing it has to be this way. There has to be the loss and gain. Things have to come and go. It's just the way it is, right? As I quoted earlier from Anthony de Mello, enlightenment is total surrender to the inevitable. So in fact, when that you've allowed grief to do its thing, you've let it happen, and you feel that contentment, that is enlightenment. Right? It's not the great vision, like a plant medicine trip or something. It is just this quiet realization, and your heart opens and surrenders to it. That's it. That's the real thing. It's not. The insights, great. They're wonderful, but there's no definitive aha. There's just a continual letting go of everything until there's only one thing left to let go of. You. At that point, you are just letting go of everything. Suddenly there's one thing left. And then it's like, that is the mythological meaning of Christ on the cross. Completely letting go of himself. Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. It is finished. And then devotional relationship, me and God, and I'm sacrificing, letting go of everything, right? Giving it all to him, and eventually it's, oh, me too. And I throw me in the basket, and now God is all there is. No more me, just God. It's always been that way. You find this me was God giving herself an experience. Amazing. Oh, wow. We've been going for a while, and I got quite a stack of things here. Let's see if I can. Nay, do you think, feel, believes that universal law is a concept, not a fact? Yes, it is a concept. Who made it a universal law? Who said it was a universal law? We say, oh, that's a universal law. We decide it's a universal law. And then we start acting as if it's something other than us. The identification with the person is like the ultimate schizophrenia. You know, that's what it's meant by not making graven images. I make this, this idol, and then I worship it. And what is it? It's nothing but an image I made, projected my stuff onto it, and then I worshipped it as if it was other than me. Please give me, please give me. This is what we do. All the gods, all the goddesses, anything you can imagine, laws of the universe, laws of physics, demons, devils, angels, all the beings, I don't care what they are, they're all you. They're all you. But because of identification with this little person, this little limited person, we believe them to be other, experience them as other, and then we're amazed. How do I become one? How do I get that? Well, you gave it. You forget you're the projector, and you're trying to get something off the screen, and it's all coming from you. This is the deep insight that really completely sets you free. Is there some truth to laws like the laws of polarity, rhythm, correspondence? Because it's you, and we're here, and I have the wonderful opportunity to engage you at both the emotional healing level, which you need a lot, and me, similar experiences of just completely, complete an environment that would not allow you to be yourself, no matter what. Yeah. And you would suffer terribly if you tried. And why emotional healing is absolutely necessary. You can't just jump into, oh, it's all an illusion. You can't go with that bullshit. Advaita bullshit. That's what my teachers called it. So, on one level, for somebody, all of these things can be a path, which I'm sure they have been for you, to getting some kind of sense of agency in my life. That, oh, there's these laws I can work with. They're real, they're fixed. They're not just arbitrary and somebody made them up, right? And that is true to a point. Right? So when I say it's all coming up for you and it's all made up, I'm not belittling them. I'm bringing you to a higher place where the only law of the universe, and what's a law? The way it is, the way things will behave, right? Not because they choose to, but because this is the way it is. We're intimately aware of that. We see it. Right? But we have not yet got to the point where we recognize that what is making them a law is the only law there actually is. Reality, right? We're looking for reality. And what we don't suspect is that we are reality. I mean, who's going to decide what's reality? Who decides what's true? How do you know what's true and what isn't? Only truth recognizes the truth. So the law, what we call the law of polarity, the law of rhythm or correspondence, right, are recognized by that within you. So when you see rhythm, respond rhythm, and I'm not sure what those laws exactly are, or you see anything that is that you recognize that this is something that's consistent. It seems like a law. What you're really seeing, we don't pay attention to that which is seeing it. Because the only thing that could recognize it as it actually is the reality of it, which means it's not there, it's here, and that this is a projection of it. This is the manifestation of it. And part of this process of manifestation is for a sense of self to arise from the self that can forget where it came from, so it can fully experience it as if it were separate. And then at the end of the movie, a mysterious figure shows up in the movie and begins to turn them around back into the, oh my God, it's a movie. That's right. And I'm not the character in the movie. Oh, yeah, that's what awakening is. And part of that awakening is, part of the movie will be emotional healing, depending on your movie, depends on the movie. Ramana's movie, at least in this lifetime, was kind of short. Went right from complete disinterest to fully enlightened being. Short period of time. But as he said himself, that it's not easy for anybody in this life unless they've done a lot of work in the past lives. Buddha even said that he spent 500 lifetimes as a bodhisattva in service of the Buddha. He uses the word 500. It just means a lot. Right? It doesn't mean like he's counting or something like that. It just means that you're here at the place you are, experiencing the things you are, and had experienced what you did because you have done it. You have made that choice. I do want to be free. I do want the truth. And I am willing to do what it takes to get there. When we make that promise before we know what it's going to take, and of course couldn't otherwise, and we don't know, so it's going to be a struggle to know, why is it that? Why did I have to go through this? Well, eventually it'll be clear. I can give you ideas, right, but it won't have the same kind of meaning. I mean, people told me that when I've been going through hell. Yeah, really? Right? Why did I have to have it? Why did I have such a shitty childhood? What happened? Why did I become so fucking dysfunctional? Why did I have to have? And I said, oh my God, yes, it had to be like that. And thank God it was. So I wouldn't be able to sit here with you if it wasn't. So somewhere down the line, I said, please. And of course, I literally did it, sitting in front of my teacher. Will you be my teacher? I said, yes. And that moment, I put my head in the lion's mouth. And if you get your head in the lion's mouth, there is no escape. I consciously asked for the fast track. And as he put it, awakening is like taking a piece of ice and putting it into warm water. But satsang, like taking a blowtorch to the ice. And then he said, well, that's not a very pretty image, but you know what? The ice asked for it. I asked for it. I did. I was just expecting to be showered. Oh, sorry. Man, you understand so much, but inside I got exactly that. Just a tearing away of the bullshit. Delusion upon illusion. So, I said recently, awakening is, I have found awakening to be just a series of face palms. But every face palm is a liberation. Larry, so grateful for your sharing. Oh, thank you, Laird. Todd. What was underdeveloped going up is now something cultivated, though through stillness sessions with me. They've always been there. Yes, it was covered over. Oh, here we go. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. There is no safety. You're right. There isn't. No guarantee of safety. Dangerous memes. Oh man, come on, grow up. All safety is an illusion. But don't buy what he's selling. All right, everybody hear him? Check it. Boy, you know what? Just a little word of advice, if you're still listening, which you're probably not. Before you go spouting off these things, listen. Don't hear what I've said in an isolated experience talking to one particular person. Get the whole picture. I don't know who the poet was that said, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the Pyrean springs. I've made the mistake. Oh no, because I had a position. And anything disagreed with that position, I was more than ready to, because I'd love to sit and actually talk to you about it. Boba hot dogs, because it is. It is. And our whole nervous system was built to try to become as safe as it is, and those that adapted to become more safe than others survived. And so, yes, there is safety. There's safety. The nervous system is designed to get safety as much as it can. As children, we're looking for perfect safety. It doesn't exist. We have to grow into it. Right? So there's no such thing as perfect safety. So you missed the whole point. We're seeking it. Right? We're seeking safety. Right? There's no guarantee of safety for the body. Of course not. It's going to die. It's vulnerable. All sorts of things can knock it out. Right? But this is not a path of trying to find perfect safety in the world. It's a path that recognizes there isn't any. And so you look, there's nothing to gain here. Does it not exist at all? Not here, not in the body. But who are you? If I am the body, then I'm not ever safe. I can't ever be safe. Perfectly safe. We get stuck in traumatic experiences that make us feel as if there's no safety ever anywhere, which is a complete denial of human nature. If there is, you're safe. You're very safe. All safety is an illusion. Okay. Then what are you experiencing? We can take and make this elaborate story out of the simple fact that it's no perfect safety. If I believe there is, that would be an illusion. But it's not absent either. We're all safe. We're all kind of comfortable. There's no wolf at the door. Bombs aren't falling on us. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I was even talking about that earlier. I've had that. Okay, I even said, look in his eyes, he's crazy. I am. Thank you, Babaji. Oh, thank you. Nay, thank you. Lucas, Melissa, would you have a word on fear, anxiety? We'd love to dwell in peace, love, opposing frequencies. Do we accept and love fear when it arises? I don't have to love it. Oh, I love my anxiety. Give me more. No, you understand it. You understand what it is. Really, that's what it's about. Understanding. When you recognize fear for what it actually is, it ceases to be an enemy. It's not something you need to get rid of. What we do need to free ourselves from is the imaginary fear. the fears, the assumption of danger, rather than the reality of some danger. So if you look at animals in the wild, they're only afraid when there's something to be afraid of. And that fear, when it's not there anymore, goes away. That's nature. Fear is simply the body's getting ready to run. That's it. That's what it feels like. And anger is when the body's getting ready to fight. Fight and flight. That's the deal. And that's what it is. Right? Now, the thing is with us humans, and the way our minds have developed, we can create images that are terrifying to us, but we can't run away from it and we can't fight it because there's actually nothing there. It's just thoughts. And so we end up with a struggle with ourselves, which is why the practice of, well, all the various practices, right? And you know, part of what I do in teach emotional freedom, which I'm going to have a level 1 class starting very soon. Actually next week. Well, it started this week, but that was just for the second and third level started. It's going to be the same group for the last, but I'm going to open up this week. So I'd love any of you to attend. I forgot. If anybody knows what the link is to sign up for that, let me know, because I forgot. I could look it up really quick. If you're interested, let me know. I'll look it up. So yes, we fear what we don't understand. When we understand it, we realize that fear has a purpose. But if we can go beyond just the psychological impressions and beliefs that are stimulating fear, when there's no actual danger there, then we can transcend that. And now fear that we feel, it'll only be there when there's really something to be afraid of. And fear, when it becomes this thing it can't deal with, right? Because it's something you can do. Of course, that it has to be suppressed. It can't be allowed to be a pain, because where are you going to run? And especially, when you're kids, and the pain you're suffering is coming from your parents, you can't run and you can't fight. That's trauma. Boom. That's what trauma is. It's an incapacity to fight or flee, and you freeze. Humans freeze in weird ways. I won't go into the details of it now, but it's kind of different for us. But we have that capacity. But over time, because it's suppressed, it becomes anxiety, stress, and there's just this uncomfortable sense that something could go wrong. And this is where all of our psychological, emotional unwellness comes from. So, God, I wish I'd get you all in my emotional healing classes. Just it's amazing how fast this stuff can actually heal once you know what's actually happening. Up until then, we're just, we're jousting with windmills. We're fighting the wrong enemy. We don't realize, right, that we're fighting a ghost, and when in fact, the reality is here, and you don't have to fight it. So it's not love for fear, it's love for you. And that love for you opens up the door to a love for the human system and the way it works. And that means a love for the fear as well. So, because now you know what it is. It doesn't take you over. There's no stories about it. There's fear here. Is there something I'm afraid of? And it really is. It gets down to that. It's like, okay, is this fear or anxiety here because there's actually something that I need to be concerned with? Or is this an echo from the past? So it's just, you can see it's a very simple, very loving inquiry at that point. It's not harsh, not get rid of. It's just like, all right, let's get to the bottom of this. Fear, thank you. Doing a great job. Come on, let's go together. Let's see what's actually here. That's what I teach people to do. And so far I got a bunch of satisfied customers. Many of them here now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Money back guarantee. Yeah. Right. If you don't like, being naturally in a natural state of well-being, I'll gladly give you your money back and all your suffering. Happy to. Nobody's taken me up on that offer so far. Yeah. Anyway, Keith, thank you, my friend. Oh, you're welcome. Good to see you. I think you're new here, but wonderful. You can always come into to a crack me that I did not know was there, and I think, thank you. Crack in me. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, Mary. Yeah, you're fun, Mary. It's actually fun to find the cracks. Right? When the one I'm finding the crack in wants it to be found. I see cracks all the time, and who don't want? They're not quite ready to give themselves the facepalm. Oh God, really? I did it again. Yeah, but those that are, it's fun. It's a fun process. Yeah, I love to hear your cello. Everybody wants to hear your cello music, me. Brock, Religion Central. Faith to ignore the evidence that was guiding them towards their truth, much like clothing industry creating fashion to keep selling clothing people don't actually need. Yeah, it does deteriorate in that it becomes a tool for the power structures to maintain power because there is no actual authority to it. All the structures, the cultures, everything, we made it all up. But if we say that, then we have to go, well, we don't like it, we need to change it. But there's a power structure there, and I don't want that to change. No, this is the way God wants it. And see, it says here right in the Bible. Yeah, 2 verses later, it says the opposite. No, it doesn't. It's an unerring thing, and this is what it says. It's very funny to watch apologists when you know what the game is and how they're doing. And some are just downright smarmy, right? They just will never give you a straight answer. Somebody in mind. Not for that. Anyway, yeah. The original meaning of the word religion came from religio, which means to relink. And the word yoga in Sanskrit, which everybody loves yoga. Nobody likes religion. Everybody loves yoga. Yoga means to yoke together. It's the same at its essence. It's this reunification with essence, right? And different paths and different methods and different practices and the like. But in different shapes, and God will take any shape you want him to. Her to, right? Any gender, even animals, books fall on their head, anything. If that's the way you need to see it, it's all so perfectly loving. But eventually, what happens is because of interest and ego, getting, maintaining its position, it gets kind of petrified, and that which is just a metaphorical or archetypal way of giving expression to that which is beyond form gets kind of concretized into a thing. This is a fact, and so you've got all these people arguing for the historical accuracy of the Bible, and almost none of it actually happened. That was never the intention. Some of it was, there were things written by people at times, because yeah, real events did take place, right? But then there's these myth on top of it, and then the myths kind of reinterpret and renegotiate what was said and the like. The slavery, the Israelites being taken into slavery by Egypt, and then the deliverer came and they were delivered from it all. None of that happened. It's a story to illustrate a point. Stories of all sorts of different reasons, but you can see that the transcendent must come to us in a form that we can grasp. And it serves multiple functions. It's rare when you develop to the point, your spiritual maturity gets to the point where you can hear the pure, uncostumed truth in the most succinct and direct way, because even that's just a pointer, right? But it no longer is wearing a costume. You're being shown directly. Look here. No stories, no religion, no God, no practice. Just look and see for yourself. I'll point it out. Don't even listen to me. Just look, see. Before I said, look, see. At every stage of your life, content was constantly changing. Was the consciousness that was looking at it changing? Now, it doesn't matter what I tell you. You're the one that has to look at it and see it. And you go self-confirming, yeah. Yeah. Something wasn't changing. Wait a minute. That's me. I wasn't. Wait a minute. Am I consciousness? No. But in fact, the evidence is obvious when you look at it without a story. I am. What does that mean? I am just formless consciousness. But notice, that's not religion. That's not metaphor. It's not stories. It's gone beyond the costume. And it's quite a rare thing that you all have gotten to the point where you can. I want you to appreciate that, because it's like, wow, yes. To really appreciate, because I know we get the struggles, the stuff that comes up, the traumatic stuff, all the attachments, all the spiritual language and emotional, and all of that is all there. It's kind of good for me to grab you and pull you back and say, look. Look where you've come from, where you are, that you can actually engage with this on a level that will be successful. I mean, yeah, kudos to you all. Kudos to you all. Oh, Megan, hearts to you, my love. Gee, you're the only person I've ever heard mention Anthony de Mello. The Jesuits gave me the gift of him long, long ago. Synchronicity, love you, G. Just a beautiful man. There are actually a few videos. There's some video footage, and maybe it was, I don't know, Super 8 or something back, because he hasn't been with us for a while. There are a few of him actually talking. He's quite an animated character. And his writings, of course, were banned by the church as heretical. As was Meister Eckhart. He was a Christian mystic, an awakened Christian. And there were a lot in the beginning. Now kind of got buried, but anyway. So yeah, love him. Love it wherever I can see. Wherever I see the truth, just happen. And I remember that I can see the truth because I am the truth. And the same is true. The only truth recognizes truth. Whatever truth you recognize here, it's because it's you. You recognize yourself. You look in the mirror, nobody has to tell you it's you. You just know. Same with this. You recognize truth because you are truth. Which means you don't have to take my word. It's self-confirming, self-validating. Big one for you, Nay, right? Me too. Thank you, G. Yes, I'm grateful for the fast track. Yeah, it's not the easy track. All at once, but bring it on. Yeah. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah. Melissa, GP, check. Great tea with G. Thus far, I've been listening while doing household chores, preparing dinner. Love the quote by DeMello. So true, so true. Davis says, thank you, thank you. Thank you all. Oh, only 20 minutes over. Look at that. Look at that. Any last words? No. Just what a joy it is to get to interact with you all. It is. And I get to talk about the thing that I love to talk about, but is unspeakable. So no matter what I say, it's like off. I could never, what a great job. It's all the time and always fail. Oh, I keep doing it because I love to do it. Yeah. We'll spend eternity trying to give expression to the expressions. All right, my loves. I see you all very, very soon. Yeah. And until then, bye-bye. Namaste. Love you.